a massacre from Astralis as they make it a quick one to open our day here at DreamHack Open 4. 16-3 is our final scoreline as they sweep Godsent's pick to lead us into Nuke. Potter and Blair, as always, are here to break down all the action. And once again, Potter, it seems to be a story of these individuals just stepping up to the plate for Astralis.
Yeah, the individuals absolutely stepping up, and we got to talk about Dupree, man. You just saw it there in that highlight, pushing into that boiler room and just taking down 3. And this kind of was the storyline for Astralis all game long on their CT side is, if I'm Dupree and I can make those kinds of moves, you know, a lot of these players in the back of their mind, they're thinking, oh shit, if I die here, we lose the round. But Dupree, he doesn't have those fears. He's got Magisk, he's got Device to be his backup plan, to be his insurance card. So that gives him a whole lot of more wiggle room to be able to make the moves that he was making. Magisk in the back, holding down the line. This is just Astralis showcasing exactly why they're the best team in the world.
And I think that's a difficult thing when we're talking about those T sides from Godsent. Sure, we were sort of pitting a lot on them because that's been their sort of preferential side when we've seen them competing here at the RMR event. But we've got to give a little bit of credit to them. You know, they were making some stuff work, Blair. It was just unfortunate that Astralis were there at every point to really just be holding them.
Yeah, I feel like they had a pretty good T side, and this might be one of the scorelines which could be a little misleading. Yeah, it was a very one-sided result, 16-3 to Astralis, but I could see a world where this could have been a 16-8, maybe even a 16-9 for Godsent. They had so many rounds on the T side where they had the upper hand, they had the opening kills going their way, but like Potter mentioned, the individual stepping up for Astralis, like Dupree just going for this individual plays, and Magisk with some of his classic spray goodness, which we saw towards the top of bracket. So a little unfortunate for Godsent, but Astralis were clearly the better team, and even individually they were quite the better team here.
And I know you want to roll it back to all the way to the beginning of the match. Admittedly, not that long ago, Blair, but you have a round that you want to break down.
Yeah, this would be the pistol round I have here in Stats Helix, and just take a look at this real quickly, right? Take a look at where Madden is. Madden's all the way towards Banana. He is the raid boss. He's got a P250, he's got Kevlar. You have an aggressive hold from Device, Dupree, and Magisk. You have Magisk and Device setting a crossfire towards top of mid. You have Dupree just peering into the boiler area. And for Godsent, they've sent Madden kind of like a bait towards Banana. You have Crystal holding mid, looking for any push from the CTs, and the 3 players here towards the apartments. And see what happens here. We played out. Madden walks in. This is a little bit of a mistake from Astralis. There was no one checking towards Banana. They were expecting a play to take place from the side of Godsent, but Madden just walks on up. He catches Glaive. A little bit of a messy fight, but he wins it. Glaive caught up with the nade in his hand. He gets the kill, and then Now, just take a look at S-Attack here. He needs to take this duel with Madden. He gets the kill. Now, hold on. This is where Godsent just waiting for Madden to get the kill onto S-Attack. They don't do anything yet. And once he gets the kill, that's when they start getting confused. And this is a classic case. They're about to head into the A bomb site, but the moment Madden says, "Beast clear, guys," they stop, they pause, and they ponder. And they're like, what do we do right now? And that's the moment Crystal goes for a play towards mid. He dies. And then they get so very confused. And Godsent's like, okay, we can still go back to B. Madden, what can you do? Madden gets taken on by Device. And that's when the hit comes in towards A. And then we're just going to fast forward a little bit here. It kind of falls apart. Device, Dupree goes for a big flank from apartments. He gets the kills onto the final 2 players over here on Sticko and Zen. And that's the round. I think it's one of the classic cases of the of a dog chasing a car, and then it finally catches a car, which doesn't usually happen, and then he's kind of left wondering, what the hell do I do from here? And that was the case for Godsent. They were caught, they were a little surprised that they got the B bomb site kind of for free because Madden got both the kills, which kind of threw a spanner in their works. They could have headed back to B, but then in the end, they headed towards A, where Dupree was lying in wait.
That is my favorite analogy I've ever heard you use there, Blair. I want to hear more of that coming from you.
I had a big dog at home, all right?
I was going to say a common occurrence for all dog owners, I'm sure. But I want to focus on the next map, which will be Nuke. Christine, this is going to be Astralis' pick. But we have seen Godsent having some success on this map, namely against FaZe just a mere couple of days ago. So if you're Godsent and if you want to be replicating that same form and trying to take this to a 3rd map, what should they be focusing on?
Yeah, it's got to be Farlig, right? Just because, you know, Farlig, he's had a successful run ever since he's joined this Godsent side. But you saw it here, the glimpses on Inferno as well. He's sticking to his guns, he's sticking to that AWP, but he's not finding quite as much success as I'm sure that he or Godsent would want. And Godsent, they do a pretty decent job. They're very thoughtful in their T-side approach to allow Farlig a lot of time, but Astralis aren't giving him that time. They're not giving him that sort of wiggle room to find those picks. So it's kind of the same storyline. Now versus FaZe, Farlig, He had a quieter game, and then in the very last round, he actually ended up with an ace, so that really stat padded his frag potential. But throughout the entirety of that phase match, he was a little quiet as well. So coming into this Nuke for Godsent, maybe they need to have a different approach. Maybe he needs to be on a rifle. Maybe he needs to stay on that AWP. But either way, they need to figure something a little bit different out because Astralis have their number right now. They're not allowing Farlig to get comfortable at all. So hopefully Godsent, they have a different approach here.
Well, hopefully they do indeed. This is the last chance to prevent them from falling into that lower bracket. Can Godsent make a comeback? Find out after this.
Astralis dominate on map number 1. Now it's time for Nuke. Map 2 comes up, and Godsent, they're not a slouch in this map, but it's just a different beast when you're going up against Astralis.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, right? Astralis obviously picking this one. They're going to pick it against almost any team they can when they have the option to. They're happy to go into Nuke. Now, something that is kind of interesting, Dinko, is that Devilwalk a few days ago tweeted out, "Nuke is T-sided, change my mind." Well, he hasn't changed his own mind enough to pick the T-side of Nuke to start with. They're going to start on CT, and let's see what they've got to start their CT side.
Maybe they want to finish strong. Maybe. Well, we head into the second map. Astralis on the T side. Godsent with every single player on Kevlar. 0 utility purchase into this round. So Godsent, they're looking for those headshots, and Astralis running down into ramp.
Straight in. No one here for Godsent. And this is where that lack of kit could cost them. They've got to make sure they deny that B site at least quickly. Dicko trying to see if he can hold, and he's not going to be able to do so. Madden's rotating over, but the bomb is already arriving on the B site, and this is going to be really tricky for Godsent.
Yeah, I feel like putting that much pressure, if you're going to use that setup,
Jesus.
yeah, that's just ridiculously quick. But if you're going to go for that setup, Alex, Sticko needs to get at least 1 kill. If he doesn't get a kill on that hold, it all falls apart immediately. You can see Astralis just has so much control of the site. I'm not a big fan of that setup from Godsent because it does put so much pressure on one player. If he goes down, then it all looks rough. And Astralis, they make the right call. They just rush straight into ramp.
Now they find the weak spot. They quickly exploit it. The Godsent will be forcing up into this second round. Farlig's got the scout at yard, which is something that Astralis need to be careful of. Nade already doing a bit of damage to Dupree. Again, this full spy comes through for Godsent. Astralis happy to just take their time at the start of this round. They've got plenty of AKs on the Astralis side, plenty of nades as well. They're already lining up some of those smokes towards yard. It's a good thing they are, because now Farlig's scout will have much fewer opportunities to land any shots.
Wall of smokes up for the cross. Farlig towards heaven. Astralis putting pressure towards yard, and the shot is landed by Farlig. Not too bad. They're going to get down, and the headshot onto Gliv. That's a lot of damage done by Farlig on the scout into this round, and maybe, just maybe, more to be done here for Godsent. They have 3 players down on the lower side already. 2 inside of the vents, the 5-7 at the bottom of the stairs, and that's the bomb into the hands of the CT players. Astralis are losing players left, right, and center. Finally fighting back with 1, but is it enough?
Oh, such a hard fight for Magus. 2 players on the stairs position. He can't get either of them. 25 seconds left on the clock. The bomb now firmly in the grasp of the Godsent side. And Astralis are probably saving here. They're out of there. The 2 AKs trying to save into the next round. So Godsent fight back in the second. good to see them winning an early force buy as well. Now they can try and start to take control of that economy, which we were talking about in the previous game, Dinko. They've got that chance now to try and reset Astralis. And great to see Farlig doing some early damage as well. I think Nuke is one of the maps where Farlig looks most comfortable with the AWP. I think I'd expect him to have a bit more impact on this one. And that was certainly a nice shot with the scout.
Well, that's a fantastic round for Godsent to pick up. I feel like a lot of the early back and forth rounds could have been won by Godsent on Inferno. We talked about that, right? They should have had a few more at the start of the game. Astralis just got off to such a strong lead. Finally, Godsent seeing some success in the early game. And maybe they can turn this into a couple of rounds in a row now. Godsent under pressure. Sticker, the first player to try and hold off this Astralis attack into the ramp. He's forced off the angle. He'll have to go down to B. Now Astralis can put pressure onto Philo as well. They've got a lot of control early on into the round.
Now all the way back to the B site for Sticko. Again, playing it pretty safe. Astralis have a few options, though. They could go down ramp, or they could try and start to flank into Hell. And that looks to be the option they're taking right now. A couple of players moving in. Farlig playing a slightly unexpected position, though. Tag about to clear this corner. Farlig lands the first, he gets the second. Good spray from Farlig, and Godsent turning this round in their favor. 3 early kills for them. This should be their round almost every time.
There you go. Catching device. That's the rifle out of their hands. Dupree looks to pick it up, and he might just do it. Give away his position. It doesn't even matter. Sticko was walking right towards him, and Godsent 2-1 up on the scoreboard. They win the second round force buy, and they win the follow-up investment. Good round from them. Good recovery as well. Got a little bit scary at the start there, but Sticko repositions well. And as Astralis with nothing in the bank, so it should be 3-1 up for Godsent.
Gotta be 3-1 for Godsent against the full Glocks. If they lose this, they will be kicking themselves. Nade doing a bit of early damage. Would be nice for Godsent to build up some money as well. I'm sure Farlig will be wanting to get that AWP out as soon as possible. Astralis happy to just sit back. You know what? Here's a time for a fun stat, Dinko. All right. Sticko has the 3rd highest headshot percentage at this tournament. Can you guess who's second and first? I'm going to give you a spoiler here. You probably can't guess who's first.
Okay, then I can't. Just go for it. Tell me.
All right. Well, second is Cold Zero, and first is Muterus from Saw.
Ah,
there you go.
Yeah, never was guessing that. Yeah. Never. Had a good game against Fierce Clan as well. A couple of moments there, and I believe he was the player that got the ace. It wasn't Stodono, but nonetheless, pretty impressive stuff. He'll walk out of the tournament, at least that statistic, trying to hold it high. And 2-1. Godsent right now. AK-47s on the hold. Sticko, the first player, under pressure yet again. Gliv going down, Farlig trying to hold on. What? 3 kills against the pistols, but still done in beautiful fashion. 3-1 for Godsent.
That's their AWPer, by the way, who just did that. Pretty good from Farlig. I was just saying that Farlig's probably going to want to get the AWP soon. Maybe not, Dinko. He's happy with the AK, apparently. That was a lovely transfer. And now Astralis get the guns out into this first gun round. Godsent just sticking with the rifles, not going for an AWP just yet. Madden's even got that MP9 in his hands. And Zen is moving straight into Secret. Astralis have got Magisk here making the move early, and this is something Magisk loves to do on this T side of Nuke. He loves to get aggressive at Yard, try and put some pressure in that position early, and I think this is one of the maps where Glaive said he thinks Magisk is most comfortable calling, and I think that's because Magisk himself goes for the early information play, and then he sees what the response is. He sees where the gap in the CT hold is, and can try and make the most of it, and you're going to see Magisk already starting to move in.
Farlig has a decent position here. And he's got Cliff running in towards him. The opening headshot. It's Astralis, and oh no, Zen tried to cross into the open to make the play that would pull the round back, and all he does is give away his life. That smoke fades, giving away his position, and our Godsent are crumbling. 1 kill has come in from Crystal on the A hold, but there's just too many players coming in from too many different positions, and it's Astralis getting a second round on the board. I just want to bring it back to the point you were discussing there, and the fact that the leadership is such a great topic to talk about here in Astralis at the moment. Obviously, Glib has to step down. The pressures of in-game leading and so much Counter-Strike going on. There's just too much pressure on that role. So he's come back into the team. Wanted to make sure he played in the RMR event for them. And it's interesting how they're balancing it all out. They tried Sonic calling a while before, Glib was saying, and now it's Magisk doing most of it with Glib kind of stepping in here and there, giving a few tidbits. But it's been fantastic still from Astralis. And you can see it feels a little different. This Astralis team, I can see something that's just a little bit more raw about them.
Definitely more willing to take fights, it seems, which I think is really nice to see. And this is that play I was talking about. Magisk making the first move down secret. He looks for information. He looks to see what the CT response is. And Zen is the man who responds with the AWP. Instantly shuts him out of the round. Back to a 4v4 after the early trade. Now Zen's coming back up to the A side, and oh no, Glaive catches him in the back. Zen not ready for the yard players. Crystal able to trade again though, into a 3v3, but Sticko's got aggressive into lobby. Good position to be in, good bit of information gathered. The problem for Godsent is they currently have no one on this B site, and Astralis are slowly closing it.
Madden. On top of Silo, Tiger. Oh, Madden, he fails the jump without even being shot. Tiger will take that kill freely, puts Madden out of his misery, and now Crystal looking to pull the round back. He's got 2 collected, and Sticko this time in the control room drops the bomb. It's on Dupree. A 1 versus 2 clutch required of him. And he'll look to the control room. Now Sticko giving another slight pixel to play with, but Dupree has been toyed with. He flees the scene, and it's Godsent winning the round.
Counter-terrorists win. Nice rotation from Godsent there. Getting there in time. Astralis running out of time. Godsent starting to show up early on Nuke. And wow, even with Tag finding this early kill. Madden missing the jump down there. Oh, that was awkward, but they won't really care. They won the round, and Farlig has got that AWP back into his hands. Astralis going for another buy, though. They've got the AKs out again. I'd love to see Farlig getting more involved now with that AWP. He is going towards Yard. I think we saw in one of those earlier rounds, he didn't look anywhere near as comfortable with the AK in his hands. So having the AWP is going to help him hold that position. He's going to feel much more comfortable. Astralis, though, happy to take another slow start to this round, even though they ran out of time in the last one. Plenty of nades for Astralis. Just the 1 gun missing in the hands of Device. And some early smokes going down again. Last time this happened, Farlig landed a shot straight through them. Let's hope for Astralis' sake that doesn't happen to them again.
Oh, this boost could be interesting. As the tag around the other side of the smoke. Spray comes through. The boost is deconstructed, and Estetai walks away with his life as well. It's Farlig that opens up the round, and Glaive will fall victim to the AWP. And now finally looking for another one towards outside. 45 seconds in play for Astralis on this T side to figure out what they want to do. And the pressure coming into the B bomb site. Zen spots the info, drops back, and holds a different spot inside of the ramp with Sticko. Astralis are running the clock down yet again. And they'll have to see if they can win this round with only 30 seconds left in the clock. They have to win these duels. Magisk somehow wins the battle against Zen, and now Sticko's position given away as well. He has plenty of cover to play with, and the itchy grenade seals on in. Magisk goes down, and now with 17 seconds left, Astralis still nowhere near the site. They have to cross into the open, and this time it's being guarded by the AWP of Farlig.
Oh, good shot coming in from Crystal. Farlig closing out the round. And again, Godsent showing a good quick rotation down to that B site. Even though those B players died pretty quickly there, Astralis didn't have too many nades left. Here's the shot from Farlig, again looking pretty good at the start of Nuke. He's landing some shots right now, which is great to see. I really thought when Farlig joined this roster, he was going to be pretty comfortable in sort of a Crystal-style team, because he's played on Danish teams for a while. He's played on these sort of structured squads. He knows what it's like to play on similar squads to, I think, how Crystal calls. I think now we're starting to get to see Farlig really show up for this Godsent side. Definitely been a good start for Godsent in this game. And flash comes in early. Zen fully blinded. This is a fast play from Astralis, but it's paying off for them. Glaive up close, finally falls, but Madden's trapped in the corner. It's turned into a 2v2, and Godsent both trapped in heaven.
Device poised and ready, but the flash buying is over the top. Farley gets the info of one player inside of the site, and Sticko is able to take that kill. Farley finds the last on the Device, and it's 6-2. Godsent actually dominating these early rounds, and it's good to see. We definitely felt sorry for them over on Inferno. I feel like they could have got a lot more to play with in the start of the game. I think the start was so quiet that they just never really got going. No momentum shifted in their way, and the Astralis just were able to dominate the rest of the game. But the individuals has had some space to work with, had some time to warm up into this, and have been looking pretty solid for Godsent. And a fun fact for you, Godsent had 9 opening kills in Inferno, but just 3 rounds. This was something I was looking at, actually. If it wasn't for Dupree over on Inferno, Alex, it would have been Godsent dominating the opening duels, and they still got 3 rounds.
I think that does go back to the point we were making, that game felt way closer than the scoreline showed. And we're getting to see it at the start of Nuke. Again, this is a map that Godsent are comfortable on. Sure, it's a map that Astralis are obviously great on, but we are seeing that comfort come through for Godsent in these early rounds. Tag, make up your mind, buddy. He's going to go down the vent eventually. So 1 man down the vents early for Astralis. You can already see that Godsent are aware of that. Sticko's rotating into position, and oh no, Farley caught on the edge of the smoke. That's the AWP out of the round.
Sticko. His head will fall. Tag tears it off. Now Madden, Crystal, and Zen. And a 3 versus 5 with a 2-man advantage in play for Astralis. It looks like it's going to be Astralis' first round, but Madden has been a bit of a nuisance. And look at the position. Magisk and Zen have traded spots, and Zen has got in behind. He doesn't spot out Magisk, but the rest of Astralis are not going to be expecting this play, and he's about to find the bomb if he keeps walking forward here, Alex. What a huge play from Zen. Just aggression really working out for him. The problem is just the 2v4. The rest of his teammates have started to drop like flies, so Zen has a lot of work to do still.
Oh, Crystal might be able to join him, though. And this is where a crossfire could be established between those 2 players. The issue for Crystal is there are players already in lobby close by, but Zen gets a freebie. Dupree not ready. Zen gets a second. Crystal helping him out. It's back to a 2v2. Molly goes down, and with 20 seconds, they've got to speed this up, Dinka.
Zen nearly with a 3rd kill. Glaive barely surviving on 1 HP, and now it's all on Crystal. He's used to being the AI anchor, but he needs to win the round now. Magisk runs in, the headshot picked up for Astralis, and I have to feel for Zen. He does so much in that round. The push towards outside, that's ballsy enough. Then finding the bomb and nearly taking 3 kills. He was so close to finding Glaive, and you have to wonder, Alex, if he finds this 3rd kill onto Glaive, at that point, it feels like they've won the round. It feels like they've done enough, or at least stepping very close to doing so. And Astralis, you can see, calming down after the chaos. There'll be a tactical timeout coming through.
That round was really one that went down to the wire. One of those fights going differently could have made all the difference. Godsent having to go for the buy. Sticko's got 1 M4. The rest of the squad really struggling to get anything together into this one. Pistols on the rest of the players. This is where we might see some aggression from Godsent. Could see some pushes into lobby. We just saw Zen finding some success with aggression, so you wouldn't be surprised to see a risk taken again. Sticko is going to boost his teammate up early. Device has actually taken some nade damage over at Yard. He's down below half health. And again, Astralis just happy to take it slow at the start of the round, as you would expect on Nuke. Tag's even been able to get an opening kill. So Astralis will feel pretty confident right now with the man advantage and the weaponry advantage and the utility advantage. They basically got all the advantages, Dinko.
Got any more there, Alex?
Ranking advantage, I guess.
Yep, that's one of them. And on Godsent, oh, they've got a kill back. It's Farley doming Glaive, taking a little too much off the top. And now that man advantage that Astralis had is fallen back into an equilibrium on the server. And they're going to try and cross the secret. They're going to do so safely with Device taking the kill onto Firelight, who did have an opportunity with the gap in that smoke. Another play into the lowest site. Madden showing up with the deagle. That's the bomb top. Could he get a second? Nearly onto Magisk. And now Crystal and Sticko still in with a chance of winning this round. And this position from Crystal has to be checked for Astralis in the first, nearly the second on the 5-7. It's all on Sticko. Both players dropped below half HP. With 29 seconds left, the bomb makes a quick play up the ladder to the A site, and Sticko's going to hear that. He's on the lower side, switches out to the AK-47, and will reapproach this A-bomb site, not from the ladder, not from the vent room, but instead from secret stairs to min.
Oh, such a difficult angle there for Sticko. Tries to clear out Magus. Magus was one step ahead of him, though. Astralis with a 4th round win confirmed. And now Godsent have to take another low bite. You can already see that Farlick is keeping some extra money, again, to try and prioritize that AWP into the future. There's the first kill for Esatag. I've got to say, Dinko, I feel like Esatag is really good at spraying through smoke, spraying through walls, always getting the timings and the angles right on those. We saw a couple of those kills on Inferno as well. It's a great strength to have as well, I think, in the pro scene, because oftentimes there are going to be situations where you've got to get the right spray through the smoke. And just in general, Astralis are great at that.
Yeah, they are, right? Infamous for it, perhaps. This round should be one where Astralis have no real problems. This should be a round they walk away with cleanly. Godsent here on a deagle in the hands of Sticko, a P250, a 5-7. We've seen them do some pistol damage over the last couple of rounds, but this one I feel a little less confident in. And it should be Astralis taking a fit. Absolutely no problem. Esatag holds the ramp push. Sticko falling victim to it. The man advantage intact for Astralis, not given away as Dupree starts his walk up towards heaven. There's a player just crossed in below him. That is Zen with the 5-7. Farley has been dropped down to 65 as well. And Dupree nearly getting caught, but Glaive will save him.
Glaive's got it covered. 2 nice kills. Dupree is dealt with, though. And that's an AK recovered by Farley. Tries to throw it down to Madden, who's already involved in a fight. Just Madden left alive now, sitting back, hoping he can maybe just get gifted a kill. It is important for Astralis that they try and keep as many players alive here. You can look at the Danish economy. Not that great right now. So saving these guns would be the aim for Astralis.
I love that sentence, Alex.
I realized when I said it, I know nothing about the actual Danish economy, Dinko.
That said's probably doing all right. Who knows? Who knows?
Probably.
Not really into economics, but currently Astralis' economy is recovering from some of these early problems. And Godsent, well, they'll save with the AK-47 back in garage. And I'll take this one into the next at least. Madden with an AK is always a scary prospect. So at least that's something for Godsent to play with. And they will get a semblance of a buy. I don't really know how this one's going to go for Godsent and what the decision will be coming into this round. They've got 6 posted. Astralis are about to tie things up if they let this one slide. So they have a couple of decisions. Do they go for a half investment or do they fully invest? Farlig with the AWP. Matic can drop over a rifle. They can get a decent buy out of this. Do you use E to plant the bomb, Alex? Do you use E or do you use mouse?
No, I use E.
No, I use E. Because the best thing about it is a lot of people don't know you can use it still. A lot of the older players, for example, Blur. One of the boomers. Not saying him, for example. I'm just saying he's one of them. Yes. But you can hold E and it actually pulls out the bomb as well. So
yeah, I think
people that didn't
if
realize
you're arriving on the site and you hold E, doesn't it plant like slightly quicker? I don't know if I'm just making that up. Maybe I'm just making
I don't know. Maybe you're making that up.
I watched a 3 Clicks Philip video a while ago, but now I've completely forgotten it.
Well, I'm sure you can refresh your memory a little bit later on, but we get right back into the action. It's Godsent looking for a 7th. They've invested into this one, everything on the line. Like you said, Astralis' economy is in the recovery state right now. They have got some players the money, but not everyone. But they've gone quickly towards the lower side. Esatag is already in the control room, and Sticko is about to fall, but he turns around, gets the kill, and Glib luckily is there for the trade, but it's Crystal you've got to keep eyes on. The MP9 trying to get out of the window, but Magisk is there for the headshot.
Oh, Farley standing in the flames. That's 20 health remaining for him. So much damage from the molly. And oh no, Madden up close. What a flick from Madden. The second headshot connects. And it's up to Magus to try and win this one. A couple of opponents low. He fakes the bomb plant, but Maiden just pushes him. Madden making the difference in this round for Godsent. It quickly turned into a 3v3. I was a bit worried Godsent might not rotate down in time, but Madden proved me wrong. This second flick, up close, just had to flick roughly in the right direction. And Godsent get another round on the board.
That's a big kill from Sticko. To open up that round, it looked like he was about to fall with Esthetag just fully committing to the duel as he smashed open the window. That gives an extra millisecond to react for Sticko as he knows the fight is going to be coming his way. So he turns, he's ready for it, and he wins the duel. Very important stuff there from Sticko that you cannot overlook. Starting off that round well for Godsent. But they survived the scare. They get the money in again into this round, and this really is breaking point for both of these teams. Whoever loses this round will go on to the next few with barely any money to play with. This is what we like to call a swing round.
Ice going for the AWP without armor as well. It's been a bit of a talking point recently that at times Device is taking the rifle much more rather than the AWP. Astralis said that's because they want to have more of an ability to go for those aggressive plays we've seen them make on an individual basis. But in this round, Device has the AWP. I think for Nuke in general, that's going to be the case. Opening kill was found, but Esthetag runs forwards. That was a very risky play, and now it's brought back into a 3v3. Early trades all over the place, but Madden's caught on the bomb site. And even though Crystal's pushed into Hut, he has to solo hold this, and they're ready for him. Good shots from Dupree, who's on for the ace right now.
Sticko will try his best to pull the round back and deny the ace from Dupree. Could do it right now. Dupree goes down. Sticko diving off the top. Oh, Device was not ready for it. And Sticko now in a 1 versus 1. But Magisk was always on the flank. He'll come through for Astralis for the 6th round. Device very slow to react there. I don't think he heard the drop from Sticko. What a fantastic round from Dupree, though. You cannot overlook this guy's performance in this tournament so far. He is head and shoulders above the rest of the team. He has been doing so much work for them. Even in the slower starts for Astralis, when they had a couple of the individuals misfiring, Dupree has always been there.
Oh, and Godsent are going to keep the pressure on. They know that round was close. They know they've kept the T economy weak. And Farling knows that he can get the AWP into his hands and make the most of it. Device removed from the round early into the proceedings. Now, Astralis will get down secret. So again, we have to see the same response from Godsent. So far, they've been good on these rotates. This time, Crystal up close could get the kill, and he does. Godsent getting all the kills they need. And Esthetag is the lone soldier remaining for Astralis.
This is not going to be easy, even to get a kill here for Esthetag. This is what Inferno... I feel like in an alternative universe, Inferno could have been this scrappy at the start. There's so many of those rounds where Godsent looked like they had a chance, but now Esthetag diving to the bottom of the vent. He'll run back up the ladder with the 8K, and the bullet whizzes past his head, and he turns and catches Zen. This is becoming very expensive for Godsent. Esthetag now on a 1v2. Needs to be careful of this secret push, though. That is the problem for him as he tries to take the duel towards CT. He's really focusing this 1 versus 1, and Farlik will take the kill. They also had that player from Secret in the form of Sticko that was going to come through and find that immediate trade, though. So 8 rounds for Godsent. I mean, Esthetag does make it a little expensive towards the end there. Trying to make himself look like he had a chance, but Godsent edging it out here in this half.
Yeah, unfortunate timing for Esthetag at the end there. He slides off that box as he gets peeked. Such a shame for him because he had a real chance in the clutch. But Godsent just getting aggressive towards Yard in that round, getting some early kills, and then rotating down the vents this time. Previously, it was the ramp players rotating onto the B site. This time, it was a more aggressive rotation down the vents, and Astralis trying to speed things up. Only the pistols for the last round of the half, and it's not gone according to plan so far, although it might turn around for them, Dinko. They've got it into a 2v3, and they're going down to B.
Well, both players sprinting down lower, and Sticko has the cross. Mads is crossing over, but Sticko couldn't take the kill. So still in with a chance here, Astralis to win the round. But now that this rotation has come in with the second player, it's going to be quite difficult to hold the post plan. But Mads trusts in Esthetag to hold the site. He turns his attentions back to the vent drop on the rotation. and is able to take him down. But now 1 versus 2 for Magisk. He's collected 2 kills in the round already, but needs to double it to win this round. And the defuse coming through in the smoke as well. Farlig able to take Magisk down, and it's 9-6 at the half. What a turnaround from Godsent. A much better showing from them here on Nuke. It's time for a short break, but when we get right back into things, we'll see if Godsent can send us to a third, or will Astralis come back in the second half.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up. Failure happens to us all, but this is how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is when you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. I need you to get up. Up. You witnessing a champ and a making, fueled by your passion for greatness. Yeah, but adversity and bad situations lead us in the middle of the paths that we taking. But it's what you do after that makes men. Will you quit or will you stand up and face it? Tell me, do you have what it takes to swing back when this life asks for the fade? Can you tell me you'll adapt to the change when a punch lands and it puts you flat on your face? After you wake, will you stand up and say, get mad, hit back, lit matches with flames? Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up. Failure happens to us all, but this is how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is when you get back up when you fall. You better get up. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. I need you to get up. Get up.
Godsent clawing back on the second map. They lead the way going into the second half. 9-6. Good stuff from Godsent, but it gets very difficult as we head into the second one. We know how well-oiled Astralis can be on the CT side. So it's an uphill battle, but one that Godsent are certainly capable of climbing.
And Farley right now is the highest fragging Dane on the server. He ended the first half on 16 kills, out-fragging all of the Astralis players. I'd love for that to continue into the second half, but it starts with the pistol, and Glaive is playing up close. Quite a few players stacked at yard for Astralis, and Godsent are about to fall into the trap. Glaive's behind them. This should be easy pickings. Glaive, no, he doesn't get the kill. He still can't find it, but his teammates are there to help him, and surely Madden's in trouble here. He's getting peeked. Everyone fighting him. He is screwed. Godsent, though, getting some kills elsewhere, maybe can get down to that B side.
Yeah, I just caught in the open there. Madden had 3 different fights to try and take down. He just couldn't win any of them. A little bit of a misfire there from Glaive at the start of the round, but like you said, luckily Magisk and Device keeping the advantage for Astralis. Now that bomb starting to get planted on the lower side. Farlig has put the digits through, and Sticko trying to get back to the vent, but there's a player in there. He jumps over, and Glaive goes down. Now 2 versus 2. Astralis looking for the retake. They run onto the bomb site. Farlig's head goes right down through the hole in the door. And now it's all on Sticko. Opens it wide. Device looking to hold the angle down. They're taking good damage. And Astralis are not on the bomb right now. Eventually, Magus will get through. He's holding the 10-second defuse. Sticko doing the damage. Hasn't landed the final shots, though. And Astralis are going to pull off the defuse. It seems that the headshot from Sticko right on the final second. And he wins the round for Godsent.
Wow, Sticko just about gets away with it. The smoke fades just in time for him to line up that kill. And remember, this was Sticko and Farlig having to get all the kills between them, right? They go through ramp, they have to get down towards the B-bomb site, and then at the end, Device just can't get the kill, can't keep his teammate alive. Astralis will be forcing up, though, Dinko. So Godsent aren't out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, that defuse must have been so close from Magisk. Right down to the final second, it seemed. And while Godsent, they will find themselves a round that continues to extend upon their lead. 10-6. Sticko the hero. Over on Inferno. Every single clutch went Astralis this way. There was nothing that was going in Godsent's favor. Finally, a bit of luck shining upon them. And Godsent, with a slower approach to the round, will be putting a little bit of attention towards ramp early on. Sticko will receive a lot of damage from Astatag. He's down to 24.
Sticko instantly getting the hell out of there. You don't want to be behind a smoke when Astatag is on the other end of it, that's for sure. And Glaive is the other player there. Meg is still playing close to this door. This is the kind of rounds that I think Astralis is so good at winning, though. When they're the favorites in a game like this against a team like Godsent, who might start to feel the pressure now that they're into the lead. You cannot afford to let up if you're Godsent here, and the time is ticking. 35 seconds left for them. They still have some nades, and Magus, he's not ready. One man has crept on in. Magus not going to get the kill. Madden already out onto the site, but the trades come back around. Dupree with 2 finally falls, but Astralis have the edge for now.
As attack, oh, I thought he had confirmed a kill at least there, but his crosshair wasn't in the right spot. And now it's Glaive trying to do some chip damage. 10 seconds is all they need to hold on for, and Zen has to win a 1v2. He's been tagged up, and Glaive swings around. Astralis pulling off the pistol upset, the force buy into the second round. They are the best team in the world against top 30 teams at doing that, Alex. That is just ridiculous. Astralis is so good in these rounds, and that's something that it's priceless having up your sleeve, being able to pull these off, especially when you lose the pistol. Just swinging back with a force buy win is heartbreaking for your opponent.
And if you've watched enough Astralis games, you could almost just feel that they were going to make that round close, that they were going to have a really good chance at winning it. Just with how they play, like you said, they're so good in those second rounds, and Godsent running down the clock doesn't work for them, but they're coming right back with pistols of their own. Device nearly dead, down to 4 health from the early damage. Yard control taken by Godsent, and Farlig just spotted the player on the other side. It's Glaive who's looking for this fight. Ooh, jump was certainly scary. He's now going to fall back to a more passive position. So it is a clean kill for Astralis at the start of the round. And even though Device is on 4 health, he gets flashed in for a peek. Got to be a bit careful. If Device goes down at secret, then the AK would be recoverable. But right now, Godsent's still just waiting patiently, and Device not going to give them any chance to take him down. Nice shot.
You know, 4 HP just gets the peak right. Gets the second kill. Now Farlig, Sticko, and Zen. Less than 2 or 3 versus 5. Astralis given the huge advantage, followed up by Dupree. And it's just a matter of time before this round falls out of the hands of Godsent. We see an 8th round picked up for Astralis. And while Glaive needs to get off the ladder, luckily does so. Just Zen left alone. The lone Finn in a 1v5 against Astralis. Trying to do as much damage as he can with the Deagle, but now his position known. Dupree swings, and with the FAMAS, confirms the second kill. 8 rounds for Astralis added to the tally. Should be 9 coming right up as well, because Godsent don't really have money to work with.
And this is where Astralis are so hard to beat. They're so hard to put away at every point of the game. Just as it looks like Godsent are going to come out to a decent lead on their T side, Astralis come right back at them, and it should be 9-10.
just the Glocks. Now, zero investment, absolutely none for Godsent, keeping as much money as possible. Means those nades are going to be deadly, and, well, no kill yet. Good bit of damage, though. Finally, Madden will meet his maker. It's Glaive that shuts him out of the round. And it just feels like a formality to play this round out at this point. Astralis taking the time, limiting the casualties, winning the rounds, and we just have to turn our eyes to the future here for Godsent, whether or not this T side is going to be enough. We know how good Astralis can be. I feel like it's so important that Godsent need to shut them down early on and get these gun rounds under their belt. If you let Astralis start to build up momentum, Alex, this CT side can be incredibly scary. It's time for Devilwalk to show us what he means about this T side being the more favored side.
Yeah, Nuke is definitely a map where you can rack up more and more T rounds. We're seeing teams do it. I mean, even Godsent, just the other day, they got 10 T rounds against FaZe. Astralis definitely a team that you would expect to be more well-drilled than FaZe, considering FaZe have had recent roster moves, but we'll see. Let's see what Godsent decide to go for in this first gun round. A couple of Galils in the mix. Godsent making sure they can get as many nades as possible. And there are still some weaker weapons in play for Astralis as well. Nagus going for this spray through the smoke. Not successful so far, but Device is still playing close. Now, Godsent will probably walk all the way to Secret here. They won't want to give away the sound cube, but there is a player down Secret already for Astralis. Glaive is waiting for them.
Glaive is indeed. He'll start to fall off the angle. Running back down. The nade is going to come up on top, and it finishes off Crystal. Enough bullets were delivered from the M4 to make that nade almost immediate death. And now with the man advantage in play for Astralis, Glaive is going to back away, turns his attentions instead over towards Decon. He's got Estetag holding a bit of a long-range angle with his MP9. And Sticker's just going to walk on down. Glaive, though, with the headshot. That's a missed opportunity for Godsent. And Device sweeping up to Astralis win the round without even losing a player. And that's against the full buy. That's not a good sign for Godsent.
Yeah, Godsent are going to be playing on hard mode now, Dinko. Not even hard mode. Is there something higher than hard mode? I don't even know, but that's what they're playing on.
Nightmare mode.
There you go. They're playing on Nightmare mode because not only is it an even scoreline, with Godsent having bad money, Astralis have incredible money at this point. They're going to have a bunch of gun rounds up against them, AKs on the CT side as well. If Godsent win this, it will be incredibly impressive. If they can come back in this game, it's going to take a lot of hard work, but it would absolutely be well earned if they could do it.
Yeah, this will be the most impressive feat, though. If Godsent can overcome Astralis on Nuke after getting absolutely destroyed on their own map pick, 16-3, coming into Nuke and having to do it the hard way, would be very impressive. This Godsent team had a heartbreaking loss against Big in the group stages. And back to win against FaZe Clan now, and find themselves here in the upper bracket against Astralis. Has been a big performance for Godsent so far. Slower approach to the round. This is the round where you're not really expecting much from Godsent. Their goal is likely just to get that bomb plant, try and do some economic damage to this very strong CT economy. And now they start their charge into the A site. The smoke's at the ready. The flashbangs in the hands of Sticko. Ready to go through those skylights, so the Astralis will be under pressure, blinded by his Magic. He drops into the site. Dupree caught out as well. And they've made it onto the bomb site, but the hold from Magic is good. Well, not really that good. He gets one kill and they've overrun him.
Yeah, they didn't have many CTs on the A site itself, and Device goes down. That's a smoke deployed by Glaive to Estetag can peek over the top of. He can try and use it as a little one-way, try and isolate these fights. And he's already found Farley below. Estetag makes it a second and a third. Estetag raining down fire from above. And Mr. Reliable shows up for Astralis when they need him the most.
Yeah, there was a lot to be done there. Magic looked like he was in a spot he should be able to hold on, but only getting that one kill on the hold. And Astralis, they get overrun by the flashbang, so luckily, Estetag's there to save the day. 11 rounds on the board for Astralis, but it was all looking towards this round here. Godsent get the money back in. It's the AWP out for Farley, the AK-47s for the rest of the team, and Astralis in the lead by 1. Will that change? Will it be Godsent pulling it back and tying things up again? Only one way to find out.
Definitely curious as to what Crystal is going to conjure up in terms of a call in this round then. That pop onto the A site was surprisingly effective. Just a couple of flashes get them towards that position, but they're happy to go back towards Yard at the start of this round. Once again, it was Crystal who was the furthest player forward. There may be a gap in this smoke, though. Oh, Crystal, you've got to be careful here. Jumping across, but Glaive is waiting. They have no idea that Glaive is already in secret, and Crystal has been caught out early. Now Godsent need to find a plan B.
Oh, that Molotov actually gets... Oh, what? What a nice shot from Sticko. Estetag was trying to jump down into ramp, but Sticko with the quick headshot. And now 4 versus 3. Astralis still hold the man advantage. But ramp room is in the control of Godsent. He's got a little bit of map control to play with. I'm sure that chat is saying nice shot from Estetag. That was just ridiculous.
Take a look at the minimap, though. 2 players already on the B site. Godsent have drawn out this rotation. If they come back to A here, as it stands, Magisk is the only man on the A site, and Zen is still selling this fake on B. This is going to be down to Magisk on the A anchor again.
Oh, he's up top this time. He's got a good position. That's a free kill onto Madden. He's also got the rotation from his teammates to come bolster this A defense. And Farlick doesn't want to walk out there with an AWP. That's a death sentence. So at this point, with 10 seconds left, it's the safe call for Godsent. And a 12th round for Astralis. Yeah, again, very convincing. They only lose Estetag in the round. So the money is just unbelievably strong right now for Astralis. Look at Glaive. He's got $13,950 in the bank early on into the round. That's crazy. Astralis starting to stamp a little bit of dominance over these rounds now, and Godsent will need to do everything in these next few.
I love that angle from Magisk as well. When you're playing alone on that A site, you can stand on top of that silo. You can kind of cover both angles. And then if you spot someone, you can just try and get the kill and then potentially drop down behind the silo just to try and buy time for the rotate. Really good awareness from Magisk there as to what he needed to do on the A site, and Device comes close to an early kill. Crystal again playing a dangerous game. He got caught out last time when he tried to go for the secret play. This time, though, Astralis don't have anyone down secret just yet. Crystal again will be that man lurking towards Yard. But the rest of Godsent going back to lobby, and oh no, Crystal caught out by the AWP of Device. Back-to-back rounds where Crystal was the first to fall.
That's the tag. On the bottom of the ramp, the Molotov holding them back this time. That was the problem for him in the last round. His incendiary grenade was neutralized by the smoke. Now under a minute left, Estetag will be under pressure. He's taking an advanced stance, trying to shut down the AWP, but he's caught in position. Somehow still gets one out of that nightmare, but it's Glaive with 2. Finally, Farlick answered back, and a 3rd kill for him in the round as well. 21 and 14. Farlick has to ace the round, though, if he wants to win this for Godsent. He's 27 HP. He's 21 and 14. He's had a great performance here on Nuke, but this would be a masterclass.
25 seconds as well. First, he's got to get that bomb. Then he's got to guess where the players are coming from. He's got the bomb in his hands, but Device is still close by. And oh no, he's not ready. Nice shot from Device with the deagle. Farlick again, having a good game individually. He's landing shots, Dinko. He's still top of the entire server right now. It's great to see Farlick slotting into this team. And unfortunately, in this round, there's only so much one man can do.
Yeah, he tries his best. He gets some very good kills, but as soon as it falls in that 1v2, he doesn't really have any information to go on of where the last players could be. And the pressure really does rise in that scenario, as it is for Godsent overall on this T side. They haven't been able to get anything done, really. And a timeout having to come through.
Yeah, I've got to say, a quieter performance from Madden as well. He was someone I was really watching for in this game, because I was talking about earlier, I was looking at the stats for these Godsent players versus top 10 teams. Farlick is their highest rated player against top 10 teams with a 1.08 rating. He normally holds up. Madden is the one that I was most surprised at. Against these top teams, Madden only averages a 0.99 rating, way below what he normally does. But we've seen him recently hit that good form, right? In these recent series, he's been playing great against Big, great against FaZe. He was great on the first map of this one. Unfortunately, he slowed down slightly here on Nuke, and that could make all the difference in this close game.
That stat is kind of crazy right now. Sticker and Zen combined for 450 utility damage on this map. Their 3 teammates combined for 12. Wow. That does show that these 2 players are some of the most crucial elements of this team as the supportive elements of the roster. And back to the point of Madden, Alex, I feel like it's his playstyle. It doesn't really favor playing against a team like Astralis, right? He's a player that I've seen in the past love to get aggressive and try and create openings himself just based on his individual skill. When you're trying that against a defense that is well-oiled like Astralis is on the CT side, it becomes very difficult to find those holes, to be able to try and push them and try and cause problems and manipulate them in the same way you can do against some of the more average teams, should we say. So it does become a little bit more difficult for Madden to play with his own play style and the one he's been used to dominating with. And like you said, it seems to have matured a good bit in this tournament so far. He has been so impressive, but it's just up against Astralis when it matters the most right now. It's having a quiet showing.
Yeah, exactly. And as you're saying, he's still quite an inexperienced player, right? We're not saying that he has to be carrying against Astralis yet. He's still got a lot of time to develop, I think, on this squad, and we are seeing that come through throughout the tournament. So still positive signs. I'm glad that Godsent took the time out ahead of this round, though, because the last couple of rounds, Dinko, Crystal got caught at yard early. They went down to those 4v5s, and they still made the round somewhat close. So in this one, they decide to adapt it slightly. The problem is it's only the pistols, but last time they had the pistols, they popped onto the A site, and they actually made it a close round. So maybe they can try and do the same again.
Oh, Maz just called it on, gets 1, 2, 3 blinded as well, but it doesn't matter. 3 kills quickly coming in from Astralis. This is quick as you like. As soon as Godsent send a couple of players in, they all get absolutely destroyed. 14-10 for Astralis. They're 2 away from victory in the series. And now it is all on Godsent's buy. They come back into things with a purchase. If they lose this round, I think this is where we do just see worst fears play out, because Astralis have just been a wall in this defense. You can see, even just looking at the round counter, Alex, it's a wall. It's a sea of blue for Astralis winning on the CT side.
Yeah, definitely a sea of blue in those round wins. Winning every round after losing the pistol. Oh, device caught this time. Farley again quick on the trigger. This time it's Godsent who get the early advantage. We've touched on these opening kills in the past. This time Farley gives them the early edge, and surely this time they have to be aware that Glaive might be here. But Attack gets aggressive. Great aggressive play. Great proactive play from Attack to bring them back into the round. Godsent, though, are looking to wrap through heaven.
Glaive through the smoke. Zen hitting the deck as well, but the round has been pulled back for Astralis. They handed man deficit to start the round by Farley, but the rest of the team have stepped up. But look at this round from Madden. Look at the positioning. He's found a hole in the defense. He's taking his time in that headshot, and he might just let Dupree go. Madden with the trigger discipline, wanting to hold the heaven position, wanting to hold the map control instead. He needs to help out Farley towards outside. The bomb is down there. The player just walked past him. How has Attack managed this? He just walked right past Madden, turns around. Madden with the headshot, and now he has to do it all. A 1 versus 3 from up atop of heaven. He'll drop on down, and they have got the bomb in their hands. 30 seconds left for Madden to try and do something here, and he's got to walk into the lion's den.
Oh, I think he needed to take that kill earlier, Dinko. Farley was just completely alone at yard, watching every possible angle, and oh, mate, Madden, the quick switch, not the time for it, buddy. Glaive peeks him. Seemed to have a sixth sense there as to the timing on that fight. Astralis up to a 15-10 lead, and this is the scary thing when you play Astralis on Nuke, Dinko. At any point, they can just turn it up. And this is how Attack somehow missed Madden, and then still turned around, which is really impressive, even if he doesn't get the kill.
It's like, let me just double check I didn't walk past someone up in heaven here. Madden could have done more in that round, but nonetheless, we move into the future. It's Godsent here on 10 rounds on the board, and a bye career to try and survive on Nuke. If they lose this one, it is done. The series is concluded, and Astralis walk away with a 2-0 win. Godsent were good in the first half. And I think maybe, just possibly, you've changed Devilwalk's mind on this T-side approach.
Oh no, there are going to be some memes about that tweet now, aren't they? Nuke is T-sided, guys. Changed my mind. Yeah, I think Astralis have done that.
It happened quite quickly. It happened quite quickly. We'll see if they can pull it back, though. Essentyke holding on to the ramp progression, starting to run on through. It's Crystal over the top with the Mach 10. And Device quick with the shot on reply. 4v4. Dupree holding the lower side. Crystal was not quite ready for that. And now Dupree looking to end the round, but it's Glaive as well that can assist him. It's just one player, Sticker left alone, and Astralis will be walking away with the series win.
Sticko is screwed here. Device closes it out. It's another win for Astralis, this time a 2-0. After a dominant performance on the first map, Dinko, Nuke came closer, but I think once we headed into that second half, we saw what we wanted to see from Astralis, and that's their first 2-0 win of the tournament.
Yeah, that's a pretty nuts statistic, actually, when you think about that. This was a big showing from Astralis. As soon as you head to the playoffs, you know what you're going to get out of Astralis. The first half was a little shaky at times. A lot of the clutch rounds actually finally going in favor of Godsent. But we always had that fear in the back of our heads that Astralis would be able to pull it back going into the second half. And it all comes true. The first series in the playoffs will go to Astralis 2-0. It's time for a short break. But when we return, we'll have the desk to break this one down.
Godsent make it closer, but ultimately no cigar here at DreamHack Open Fall. They tumble down into the lower bracket as Astralis sweep Nuke into their pocket and tie up the series in a clean 2-0. A clean run from Astralis as they continue their run in the upper bracket and continuing to break it down with me, Blair and Potter. And a bit of a heartbreaking defeat for Crystal's men here, Potter. They made the scoreline much closer than it was on the first map, but ultimately the Danes just proved too much once again.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, Godsent, decent CT half, decent defenses, Farlig showing up huge, but man, the T side of things, it just looked so tough for these Godsent guys. And you saw it, right? That round where Madden finally made it all the way under ladder, was lurking, saw the Astralis members, and as soon as he's trying to tell his teammates he's in position, one by one, his teammates start falling. And that's kind of the beauty of Astralis, is when they're in those types of high pressure scenarios, high pressure situations, they just know exactly how to regain that map control, exactly where each other are going to be, capitalize on the potential crossfires that are about to happen. And they just make work of this Godsent attacking side. So definitely Astralis putting on a showcase once again of why Nuke is their comfort pick.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that's really key when we're talking about Astralis as a team, is that experience that they have together. They know exactly how to make it going back. If there's ever any doubt that they're going to be down, they know they have the men on their side to prove that. And Blair, I know there was a particular round that you wanted to be breaking down here.
Yeah, this is just to highlight how impactful Glaive was on that CD side, especially towards the secret area, right? He was spectacular the entire game, but taking a look at this round, it's kind of a half buy coming out from the side of Godsent, and let me just bring this up for you guys. There we go. So we have kind of like a posturing from Godsent towards outer area. You have smokes getting tossed in. You're going to be a number of smokes being used here by the side. I don't think we have it up yet on Stats Helix. Hopefully we should get it back up. Oh, it's not working. All right, Stats Helix is down. You know what? Let's just get the replays on. I do believe we have the replay, so we can take a look at this. It's kind of like some smokes being used by Godsent towards outside and Molotov to fake out an outer play, but Glaive just peeks up around. He's like, oh, it's all clear, boys. And then you have a setup from the side of Astralis. Now you have the repositioning from the CDs towards the upper bomb side. You have Estak pushing in with the ramp flank, catch them off guard. And this is what I'm talking about, the individuals from the side of Astralis on the CD side, how proactive they are, and kind of shutting down any potential ruses, any fakes which Godsent might be trying to throw their way. And I mean, it goes to show, look at the scoreline. They won how many rounds on the CT side? Every round on the CT side, apart from pistol round being won by the side of Astralis. And even the pistol round was a 1v2 clutch, which went the way of Godsent, right? So just individually and overall as a team, spectacular CT side coming out from Glaive and his boys.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to be picking up on here, because we knew coming into this, you know, Godsent was saying their T-sides where they favoured them. We look at the game against FaZe just a mere few days ago. Their T-side was looking really, really solid. So from your perspective, Posta, was there anything, you know, Astralis were really doing, or maybe that Godsent weren't doing on that T-side to sort of make it a more competitive scoreline?
It's tough to say, you know, but it's kind of that snowball effect that tends to happen is when things don't go your way, you go to your backup plan, but you got to have the backup of the backup of the backup plan. And I'm not sure that Godsent have all of those layers quite yet. And you saw it, right? They started feeling a lot more restricted. One thing, though, I did notice is, you know, Madden in the series, the 2 series leading up to this one, he was a lot more loose. You know, I said he busted out the AWP sometimes, taking a lot more risks. And sure, the opponents may have allowed that to happen, but for Astralis, he just didn't find those kinds of opportunities, didn't pull the trigger on a very high risk, high reward type of play. I would have loved to see Madden do something like that, but I'm sure that the opportunities, they just didn't come quite as often in this game.
Yeah, and I know, Christine, you picked up on Farlig before this map began. In the first half, he was looking great, as Hawker pointed out in the game. He was the highest ranking Dane on the server here coming into the second half, but then it just seemed like he was falling off a bit there.
Yeah, and that's one of the cruxes of Nuke T-side opping is there's not a lot of wiggle room to be had. You know, for Astralis side of things, you see Device, he hardly opts now on the T-side. It's just kind of a feeling of what the opponents are going to give you, but we see him very often on the AK making those entries, finding those openings, and it's just a different look. Now for Farlig's side of things, once again, Godsent, it's really tough to get anything going when you just don't have any map control. And the minute you think you have that map control, the minute you think you can start setting up for a set piece, start setting up for an execute, you're communicating, but it just starts falling apart one by one by one. So definitely, it's just such a tough position to be in if you're Godsent.
And I believe with that, we can begin to check in with one of the Astralis members. We have Magisk on the line. Thank you so much for agreeing to chat with us, man. Congratulations on that win.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to start off by talking about Nuke specifically, because it's been a map that we've seen Godsent have some success on against FaZe the other day at least, and they had a lot of success on that T side. So was there anything for you that was really crucial for you guys as a team to be focusing on in order to, you know, to not let Godsent get the room that we saw against FaZe?
Honestly, I didn't see the game against FaZe, but in preparation we did really well. I think we had a really good understanding of how they were like moving around on the map, and especially on the T side as well. And I think we closed down on a lot of the strategies that they were doing. So I think they felt kind of cornered into doing some specific go-to strats, and we had a good understanding of what they were gonna do. So yeah, I think just the preparation was really good, and of course everyone was having important rounds as well. Individual plays is always a good thing when you're playing on Nuke as well.
Yeah, 100%. Blair, I know you wanted to ask a question as well.
Yeah, Magisk, I remember I was just watching an interview you gave with Freya, with Frankie, I'm sorry, earlier, and you had mentioned how you are still calling right now. Glaive chimes in between, you know, just giving his thoughts in between, sometimes even taking over if you allow him to do that. I mean, how does it feel to be in a team where you have Glaive, probably the best in-game leader we've ever had in Counter-Strike, as a backup caller? What's kind of like the dynamics behind that?
Well, honestly, it's a good feeling because if I feel like I'm doing if I have a bad day of calling, I can always rely on him. So that's obviously a nice safety, if that makes sense for me. So even if I'm not performing my best individually or calling wise, it's just awesome to know that Glaive is there to help me out and the team. So I think it's been a good dynamic so far, and we are slowly getting better at it as well, and finding solutions throughout the game and stuff like that. So I just think it's going really well.
Okay.
Magisk, I have to ask about this Nuke. I noticed that your team has been picking this Nuke very often across the majority of your series, except versus Heroic the last 2 times you guys have met. Is that a conscious decision? Is there a Nuke that you're afraid, well, not afraid of for Heroic, but it's more of a careful, you're treading the waters carefully versus Heroic, or are you just confident on Nuke versus anyone?
Honestly, I still think we can be the better Nuke team than them, but in my opinion it doesn't make sense to take it against them because they're really good on the map, and it's always kind of close between us and them usually. And in general, I think we have a better map pool, so actually punishing them on other maps is better for us. But who knows? Maybe next time we'll take Nuke.
Well, Magis, thank you so much for agreeing to chat with us, and congratulations again on that win, man.
Thank you very much.
Always fabulous to get to hear from the man himself. I did want to just pick up on Astralis though, Posse, because I know we were chatting a little bit about him and his impact in the game. Of course, we see it coming through again in Nuke, and it's interesting because as we put it earlier, it's a bit of a swan song for Astralis because we know he's going to be departing the squad after this tournament.
Yeah, definitely. And you see the kind of finesse that Astralis has, right? He's that rock, he's the anchor. And it's so important to be able to have a ramp player who's able to pull the trigger and collapse kind of in that lobby area. We saw that with Astralis time and time again. He knew exactly where to be and when to be there, pushing towards that ramp, allowing dupreeh a lot more openings towards that door. And that amount of pressure on the attacking side, it's too much to handle, let's be real. I mean, there's just so many angles that you're getting crunched by. So really, Astralis, top tier player.
Well, with that win from Astralis, we can check in with our updated bracket to see exactly where that is leaving us. Of course, we've got 2 more best of 3s today, but that does mean that Godsent are going to be going down into the lower bracket. And as we were saying before, before we came on air, rather, Christine, it's going to be against Sprout. And it feels like, you know, out of the 4 teams you could potentially be facing, Godsent have got potentially a slightly easier ride than, you know, if you were facing the likes of Heroic, OG, or ultimately FaZe.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, if I'm Godsent here, I'm kind of having a sigh of relief to not only face up against Sprout, who, let's be honest, on paper are the lowest rated out of all of these 4 teams, but also that sort of familiarity. You know, both of these squads, I'm sure, scrim each other very often. They're kind of in the same caliber, and not only that, they're both kind of trying to prove a point and make a statement here. So really, it's kind of the best scenario that Godsent could have asked for.
I also feel like, sorry, I just want to add on, they're so fortunate as well, right? How unfortunate are you to face up against Astralis to open up in the playoffs, and then it's more of the gods saying, you know what, fine, take a Sprout. So good for them.
Yeah, and of course we've got North versus Fnatic coming up next, Blair. I know you're pretty excited to be sitting back and watching that one.
Oh, absolutely. Fnatic, one of my favorite teams to watch. They have had a little bit of ups and downs, but you know what? I'm going to side with my boy Maui. I think he's going to be jumping in tomorrow, and I'm going to say I'm expecting Fnatic to take the win here, even though I'm not going to be part of the panel.
I know. I was going to say, even though we don't have Maui, you will be taking that place in the green room, won't you, Blair? Completely unbiased analyst over here, absolutely. But Fnatic definitely your favourite team. Well, I think with that, we can take a short break before we get into this next one, because we have plenty more CSGO action coming your way. We're going to continue our journey along the playoffs, and we're going to see who's going to be continuing their journey in the upper bracket. It's MSL's men against Fnatic after this.